Anybody who says that there was an economic blockade is trying to give weight to the falsehood spread by the separatists that there was a blockade. The army's position is no blockade. The government of India's position is no blockade. The Sangharsh Samiti told us there was never a blockade. There won't be a blockade.
Hospitals are complaining of shortage of medicine.
No, we were told.
Shopkeepers are complaining of shortage of vegetables. Others are complaining of shortage of meat.
We were told by the divisional commissioner that there is a sufficiency of medicines as far as hospitals are concerned. The governor maintained that. Let's not go by the Hurriyat propaganda.
I'm not going by the Hurriyat propaganda. Yes. I'm going by the Indian Express, the Times of India, the Hindustan Times. Almost every journalist worth his name
I am going by what the district administration there has told us, what the hospital administration has told us, what the army administration there has told us. And let me tell you, Kashmir is not going to be, I do not accept this proposition of Kashmir being disputed. It may be Pakistan's unfinished agenda after Pakistan, after independence.
The Lahore Declaration signed by your government calls it an outstanding issue. That clearly means it's unresolved. Your own government said so.
The outstanding issue only is, and I reiterate it, that Pakistan must accept that Kashmir is an integral part of India and India will not under any circumstances barter away an inch of its territory.
That may be your interpretation, but the fact of the matter is that the world recognizes Kashmir as a disputed situation. The Indian government has on many occasions accepted that it has to require a final settlement.
I am afraid on account of the erroneous policies of the government of India in the late 40s and the early 50s, there was some internationalizing of the issue. The last few years, the world is not willing to internationalize this issue. And let me tell you,
but bilaterally, India and Pakistan have accepted it has to be sorted out. Your government has accepted it.
After 9/11 particularly, the world is not going to listen to such separatist organizations which have used violence in order as an instrument of separatism.
Let me come to the core issue that you don't want to focus upon. It is this, that for the last 10 years, increasingly, the separatist tendency was dying down. This year, you had record turnout of tourists. And yet, what has the BJP implemented blockade in Jammu done? You've inflamed separatist tendency to the point, let me finish, to the point at which the separatists today are thanking you. Saeed Ali Shah Gilani, the most hardline Islamist of the lot, has publicly said, I thank the BJP for reviving a movement that was flagging.
Well, I don't think we need that compliment or thanks from him. Let me make it very clear. We are only supporting the demand of the Amarnath Sangharsh Samiti in Jammu. And the demand precisely is this, that you have lakhs of tourists going. The Shrine Board has a duty under law to maintain the pilgrim facilities. The Shrine Board has been legitimately transferred some land to be used during the yatra. And to this, if the separatist protests and the government of India comes to that pressure, if the government of India starts coming to pressure of separatists, then governance in India really will not have legitimacy.
It's not the fact that you're supporting the Amarnath demand that I question. It's the manner and the implication and the consequence of the way you're doing it. You have cut off the valley. Let me finish this time. You have cut off the valley. You have generated a feeling amongst the people of Kashmir that they do not belong. As a result, you have inspired them a desire for Azadi 1 or secession 2. Movements that were latent have now revived. Suddenly, the whole valley with one voice is shouting, Jiye, Jiye, Pakistan. Do you know what they're saying about India? They're saying, Bharat, teri maut aayi. And your blockade is solely responsible for this.
Well, I reject this suggestion that you are making in toto. What you are suggesting that there is a blockade only aids the kind of false propaganda which is done by the separatists. Not only I reject it, this is supported by what the journalists who have been flown by the government of India in the army helicopters, along the helicopter.
What about the journalists who are there, who know Kashmir, who live there, who write for the papers?
Well, let me tell you, people who have seen it, cameras don't lie, men do. And therefore, I have seen it on cameras that there was no blockade. You've seen it on cameras.
Cameras have shown hundreds of thousands of Kashmiris for the first time waving Pakistani flags in their
cameras,
lakhs demanding Azadi. Suddenly, administration has collapsed.
Well, the cameras have also shown 4 lakh people holding the national flag in Jammu, courting arrest peacefully for their demand that give us this land which is meant for pilgrim facilities.
But could you not have demanded it without a blockade? Could you not have pursued it without a blockade?
The blockade is a lie perpetuated by the ISI, supported by the Hurriyat, and therefore I would only urge responsible Indian journalists not to give any credibility
except
to
for
such
the
a blog.
fact that it's widely believed by everyone in Srinagar and in the valley. And let me quote
Well, this is
something else.
rebutted by the army, this is rebutted by the district administration, this is rebutted by the state government, the government of India and the BJP. You have all these words against your words.
Except for the fact that the information secretary of the Lashkar-e-Toiba is also amongst those who's thanking your party. Let me quote to you what he says. Let me quote
Hurriyat
you.
and Lashkar-e-Toiba's word may carry weight with you, they don't carry weight with me.
Unfortunately, they carry weight with the people of the valley. That's what.
Well, that's the tragedy, and it should not carry weight with the people of Valley. That's what we have to jointly
But
decide.
you're creating a situation where
Well,
increasingly it does. You're not undermining the influence, you're adding to it.
We are only creating a situation where people in the Valley should not raise a demand which is separatist in character, and the government of India should not cow down to a demand which is separatist
But
in
look
character.
at the way that you've inflamed separatist sentiment. This is what the information secretary of the LET says. He says the BJP suits us. Lashkar-e-Toiba is getting a good response because of the BJP sentiments. And then he says, we pray to God they come to power again. Then we will emerge even stronger.
Well, I have nothing to say.
You are
We've
doing
been in
what
power.
Pakistan failed to do in 6
Been
years.
in power.
You've done it
We've been in
6
power
weeks.
at 6 years in the center. We initiated a peace process. We moved Kashmir towards the direction of
And now
peace.
you're pushing it all
I am
the way
sorry,
to
we are
Pakistan.
not doing that. All we are doing it is, if separatists raise a demand, don't allow the aspirations of the nationalists to be cowed down.
All right, let's take a break at that point. Let's come back and talk about one other way in which, without thinking, and simply because you're trying to get the best interest for your party, you're once again pushing Jammu into a divide with the valley. That's in a moment's time after the break.